Today, we've got one of the world's top experts on how to leverage Amazon data points such as Search Query Performance, Product Opportunity Explorer, Brand Metrics, and more. How cool is that? Pretty cool, I think. 1, 2, 3. You want to know what keywords are driving the most sales for listings on Amazon? To do that, you need to know what highly searched for keywords the product is ranking for, maybe at the top of page 1. You can actually find that out in seconds by using Helium 10's keyword research tool, Cerebro. Now that's just one of the many functions that make this tool my favorite tool in the whole suite, and it's the most powerful keyword research tool ever created for e-commerce sellers. For more information, go to h10.me/Cerebro, h10.me/CEREBRO. Don't forget to use the Serious Sellers Podcast discount coupon SSP10. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that's a completely BS-free, unscripted, and unrehearsed, organic conversation about serious strategies for serious sellers of any level in the e-commerce world. And today we've got somebody on for the second time. Now, the first time he was just on one of our live Tacos Tuesday. So this is kind of like the first regular episode he's coming on. Mansour, how's it going, man?
Going great. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really excited to be here and have this discussion.
Excellent. Now, normally when somebody's on for like the second or third time, we don't go into their backstory and stuff because we already did it in the first episode. But for you, well, I was checking over the notes here. We didn't do that since you were on a live show the last time about PPC. So I want to just dive into your backstory first of all and get to know you. Like if you've told me any of these things, I've already forgot it. So I'm just learning about it too at the same time as everybody else. So where I know you're in, is it Toronto right now?
Yes, I'm in Toronto right now. And actually I moved to Canada in 2015 from Iran.
Is that where you were born and raised?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then moved to Canada. And what did you go to university back in Iran or in Canada?
I went to back in Iran. I got my master in civil engineering. So like some of these sellers and I come from engineering background. Even in Canada up till 2020, I was a construction manager. So I was in construction. I was kind of managing like per year 4 or 5 residential homes, going back and forth between different projects, which was fun. But at some point, I'm like, okay, do I want to do this for next 10 years? I don't know. It hit me that no, I don't want to do it. And I honestly, the main reason actually was the location independency. I'm like, I do like this only because I'm really dependent to the location, especially in construction. That the main thing is that even moving from one city to another city, the network is really important. So when you move, you have lost everything. You have to start from scratch.
Sure.
So yeah, I started searching and I came across selling on Amazon. I started my first brand.
About what year are we talking about here?
It is end of 2018, early 2019.
Okay.
Yeah. So I started my brand. It was a very small brand and it was a scratch off map, which I go back. I'm not going to do this again, for that brand. But it was a good start for me to get into that. Then I started going to some of these meetups for Amazon advertisers. That was the first one was in Canada. I came across this guy. He asked me, who is doing your Amazon advertising? I said, I'm doing my own. He was like, do you want to do it for me? I said, sure, why not? So I started, you can't believe, I just charged him $200. For me, it was just an experiment. I'm like, let's see what happens. Yes. So he was happy and he was a good seller. He was a 7-figure seller. He introduced me to his friend, which was a big seller because he was happy. So long story short, my story started from there. So I have my own brand. I quit in 2020. I have my own brand. I'll do Amazon advertising, PPC. And in a meetup, I think it was Conversation 2020. It was in Austin. I get to know Liran. So Liran reached out to me later on. I joined Incrementum Digital. Moving forward, I'm now partner and director of advertising at Incrementum Digital. And early this year, I also launched a supplement brand in Canada, which is going good. I'm pretty happy with that. So my focus is now to scale that brand in Canada.
Cool. All right. So, like you said, you're not the only engineer that has made the path to Amazon. I always find it interesting to see what completely different careers that people do, come up with. And so, at what point did you stop the engineering and then Amazon, be it, consulting or be it working for Incrementum or just your own brand, like, you didn't have to work a full-time job anymore?
Well, that's a great question. At the time that I quit my job, which is early 2020, actually a month before COVID hits. So surprisingly, that COVID hits like after a month. But the income that I had from my brand and on the side what I was doing, it wasn't anywhere near my engineering job. But I was like, okay, that's it. I have to get out. And I think that was the best decision, because at that point I'm like, oh shoot, what the hell did I do? And now I have no way back. I had a way back, but I was like, I gotta make this work. So that was the point for me, that's it. Like, just go figure it out. And joining Incrementum Digital, what came after like 6-7 months after quitting my engineering job, actually.
So yeah, and people out there, don't just get so excited about the new Amazon journey, before you have a solid footing. Just, I'm going to quit my day job and go all in, unless, you have some savings, lined up and make the decision right. We have somebody else who's probably going to come on the show soon, Robert Gomez from Cafe, a brand that he started. And he was working as a Microsoft engineer for even like 5 years, even though he was already a 7-figure seller. So there's no like one exact time that it's, hey, time to quit your day job. It's different for everybody. But we're happy that you are on this side now and not doing the engineering. So one thing I think that you're probably known for more than most on LinkedIn and other places is how you leverage Amazon data. And it's funny because a lot of people sometimes come to me and say like, oh man, aren't you scared from Helium 10? Like, Amazon's coming out with so much data. I'm like, no. If Amazon had no data, like Walmart, for example, doesn't have that much data, that they provide. And so our Walmart tools are not as robust as Amazon. It's harder to provide opportunities. Like, the more data that Amazon gives publicly, the more that Helium 10 can give, the more validation. Sometimes we've got some great algorithms, but nobody has a way to like, hey, how can I trust this data? But now Amazon can, oh, wow, look how the search volume is in such a similar order as brand analytics or something like that. Now I can trust Helium 10. So I love it that Amazon comes out with more and more from a Helium 10 standpoint. But obviously, as an Amazon seller myself, I love it too. So let's just we're going to talk about as many things as we can today, like product opportunity explorer, search query performance, brand metrics. But let's just start with search query performance. It's been out almost a couple years now. It's hard to believe. But this one hasn't changed too much. A lot of the, since day one, like a lot of the other things, like product opportunity explorer, they keep adding more and more things. So I think now that we've had the same search query performance, I think probably you have gotten all the juice out that we can squeeze. So what's some of your daily or weekly habits, or like what you are leveraging that report for, and how sellers can get some actionable information from it?
Right. That's a great start. So I'm going to go into the goods and bads of search query performance. I think in the downside is that I still, after a long time that it's released, I see posts or use cases that the sellers or agencies don't get wrong, because I feel like they don't really understand what's going on and what is really the way this data is being provided. So the way they interpret the data could be misleading, which, as you know, it is 24 hours. It is just from searching from search result pages, getting impression for the same product, clicking the same product, and purchasing the same product. So one misunderstanding is that when the customer goes to your page, if they purchase another variation, that purchase is not recorded in search query performance. So these are stuff I see, like many people ask about this discrepancy. Yeah, of course, there should be maybe like 20-30% of your sales are in search query performance because of all these differences that you see. So that's the main thing. Now, the way we look at it is that, one, this trend of the search, of course, you can see it, how it is happening. Well, there is one thing that you have to understand here is that this, and I would say probably Helium is better than search query performance. And the reason is that every time customer is refreshing the page for the same keyword, for the same search, Amazon is counting that as a search volume.
Yes.
So you gotta understand that this is not the real search volume. It's not normalized.
Yep.
I don't know why Amazon changed this. They came up with the normalized version and then they updated. They say, no, it's not normalized anymore. So that was a point that I'm like, oh, why are you doing this? But now let's go to use cases. One is what we do for search query performance is that it's the best place to do your A/B testing. So we go very isolated for specific keywords that you want to test. Let's say you change your images, you change your authoring, or any type of change you do that could change your conversion rate or CTR. Right away, you can see that reflect itself in that keyword, right? When you are isolated, you can see what happened for this keyword. Or in some cases, they want to be more, if your organic ranking is not good, what we do is that we take one keyword, we push for top of search with our product with that new change, and now we can see what's going on with the product that we have. The other one is that directional of your click-through rate and conversion compared to the competition directionally. It's not 100% accurate. Directionally, what is going on and how where you are standing compared to your competitors. Then in many cases is that you could find the keywords that, for instance, they are highly related, and either your click-through rate is low, your conversion rate is low. From this list, you can come up with those keywords and start working on them, testing them, and seeing at the same time, seeing the results. The downside from search query performance, unfortunately, is that you can't scale it because you can't, like if you have 100 ASINs, you can one by one go download this. It is a very time consuming. So we are hoping one day Amazon will come up with it, bring us to this API.
They're a year old. It was supposed to be last year, but then it's now this year. But I'm not even 100% sure it's going to come available on the API this year. But yeah, like it's really hard to consume a lot of that information for sure. Now, are you at the ASIN level, you have a little bit extra information because you can click on those keywords to see the top 10 click, which it's also strange that that's different than brand analytics, but it's probably the normalized, denormalized thing too as well. But are you going that deep and looking at who are the top 10 clicked and what percentage of the clicks they have? Or are you pretty much just staying on the ASIN page, or are you staying on the brand page? Where are you focusing your efforts?
For us at Incremental Digital, what we do, as I mentioned, we can't do this for all the products. In brand level, it is easy. We do it. And the reason we do that in brand level more often is that because it gives you a holistic view of what is going on for your brand for specific keywords. So for brand, we are working more with brand, with the brand section. For ASINs, we focus on our best products and the most important keywords to understand what's going on. Maybe it is like 5 ASINs plus 5 keywords. That's the reality, right? Like how much time do you have to go out to all these details? So in ASIN level, we are very limited to our top sellers and few of keywords to going really into the deep and seeing what's going on. Who's getting these clicks for these keywords, and how we can manage this situation.
Some things is just kind of like FYI, like, hey, this is good information to have. What's going on the search volume history or of a product? How many clicks? What's the overall conversion rate? I love looking at that. The overall conversion rate of a keyword. What would you say is the most actionable things from search query performance to kind of close this out? Like, hey, this is actually something that is not just it's good to know, but hey, I'm actually going to take action on this.
Taking action. I would say even when I look at my own brand, one is that for the main keywords, what I do this on a weekly basis. I have a list of the main keywords, which is for one of my ASINs are like 10 keywords. And actually I go into the detail of week over week, what is happening to my click share for those keywords, because they are very important for me. And I want to be on the top. I'm like top 5 for these terms. I want to be aware of what is going on with my competitors and what's my need. So if I see, I have a track of my click share for the keywords. If I see it is going down, right away, I'll figure out what's going on and maybe push with my advertising. For that, for me, would be our main keywords and what's going happening for my click-through rate, conversion rate, and click share just for my top keywords. Honestly, I won't bother myself going with for all the keywords, just like top 5 to 10 keywords, what they are, and I'll keep a very close overview and monitor them to see exactly what's going on, because you see that search volume going up or down. But I want my click share and my conversion share that I have, I'm generating, either they are consistent or going up. So if I see this trend is down, right away I start doing, maybe I run coupon code, or I push with my advertising to make sure I'm getting them back into track.
Fast forwarding, day one, it's available in the API. Helium 10, you obviously know what we can do and can't do. What would be the most value that we as Helium 10 can give you to make your life easier, or other people out there? Like, what's the first thing that we should implement, you think, with Search Creative Performance in Helium 10?
I would say the easiest and the lowest hanging fruit is just putting these keywords and showing the trend for them week over week, month over month. As you know, Search Creative Performance, you have to go back and forth. As simple as that, it could be very helpful, because right then you can easily figure out what is happening for these trends, right? It's at the end of the day, it's about identifying the trends and what's happening and taking action. That identifying part right now is time consuming, because the way Amazon's providing data, which Helium 10, with having API, easily can provide that.
Let's switch to something that seems to be changing every month or even every week sometimes, Product Opportunity Explorer. I mean, like they're adding always new metrics, new views, new tabs in there. What are some, like we could probably do 2 episodes all about this, but what are some of your top things that, hey, Amazon sellers, you've got access to this, even if you don't even have brand registry, unlike Search Creative Performance. This is something that should be in your SOPs for what you're looking at as an Amazon seller in Opportunity Explorer.
Oh man, I love Opportunity Explorer. I think people underestimate it. The first thing is I would recommend to all sellers and brands is just, if you are looking for product opportunity, one of the best ways are to look at the Product Opportunity Explorer. And the reason is that you could either search for any niche that you want, or when I wanted to go to supplement, what I did, I drilled down to the category, because you can filter to any category. I drilled down to subcategory that I want. I guess now Amazon gives you all these niches related to that subcategory. I downloaded and it started going that you can search with search volume, you can search for changes, the unit sold, or number of the competition in that market. So much it could give away that I would say this is the number one. If you are doing product research, you can find opportunities. We are going to go to other stuff as well, but talking about product, the second is that in any niche that you are, best place to start your research in terms of what customers like, what they dislike, and what features they are looking for. If you go to any niche, it's going to give you all those information, which I think Amazon updated like 5 weeks ago, that customer review sites, returns, trends, not the trends was there, but these 2 are great for product researchers. Number 3, by far, one of the best use cases is the trend. We have this calls with the clients that they ask about trend. They ask about my sales are down or up. What we do is that we go exactly find the subcategory that they are in, the product niche that they are in. You go to the trend tab, and Amazon provides you with week over week trend of the search volume, right? Again, probably the search volume is not normalized here, but it doesn't matter because you are looking directional.
Yes.
It can show you, is it the trend is up or down, and it could give you a great idea of what's going on with the market, and are you aligned with that? If trend going down, your sales going up, well done, you are doing a great job. If trends going up, you are going down, then something is happening. You are staying behind, and sometimes you could even, you have the week over week data, you could do this calculation and see what is the growth for this, how much it grew from last week to prior week, how much your brand grows. So you could see directionally in terms of the growth as well to understand where you are standing with that. I'll give you one more that recently I used, and I posted a template about this. We are going to talk about brand metrics, which has the conversion rate for products. But if you are launching a new product and you don't have conversion rate, because brand metrics doesn't give you any data since you are not in subcategory, there is a way from Product Opportunity Explorer to come up with average conversion rate of the market, that niche, which is going to be an estimation. But the best place, instead of not knowing, having zero idea what the conversion rate is, you could get some data, and from the KPIs that you get from the product dashboard and from search term dashboard, combining these two, it's going to give you the average conversion rate for that market. I use this a lot, and it's the best place for me to start and say, okay, I'm launching this product. It's going to help you with the budgeting because you have the cost per click estimation, but you need conversion rate to come up with the budgeting. Plus understanding, because we know how conversion rate can impact your brand ranking, understanding where you have to stand initially. And it is for just first or 2 weeks. As soon as you get data, brand metrics is going to give you a more accurate data. So it's just for initial days to have an idea.
So what are you doing in order to get that calculation? And how are you actually doing that estimation?
It is very easy. In the product page, Amazon gives you, actually, I'm looking at here to remember, Amazon gives you the niche click count for every product. Okay, so you have the niche click count. You sum up all the click counts, it's going to give you the total clicks of the market over past year across all the products. And just a side note, when I'm saying across all products, for every niche, we are seeing the products that getting 80% of the clicks of the market. So we don't see that the other 20, but that's good enough.
Yeah.
So we have the total number of clicks. Now in the search,
actually now it's 90%. They changed that. Now it's 90. Yeah,
even better.
Yeah, it just recently changed. Yeah,
even better. Now in the search terms tab, for every single search term, Amazon tells you what is the click share of that search term. So you multiply click share of every search term by the total count of clicks that you calculated from product page. It's going to give you the number of clicks. Also, Amazon have the search conversion for every term. You have the search conversion rate. You have the total searches for each search. It's going to give you the purchase. You have the purchase. You have the clicks. Divide this. You get the conversion rate per search term. And also what I do in my template, I have this aggregated so you can see for this category what is the average conversion rate.
You reference brand metrics, so you don't have that until you start selling. But then now you're selling in a brand. How can that report help sellers?
Brand metrics. Everyone is just talking about the conversion rate in brand metrics, but the data there is so valuable that you could check everything. So Amazon gives you awareness, consideration, and purchase trend and the data for any subcategory. So what is awareness? It's just simply telling you that the number of shoppers who search your brand but they didn't purchase. How this could help you. Let's say you're running DSP or awareness campaigns. If you come here for the subcategory, you can see the trend of your branded searches in one dashboard for that subcategory. So easily you can see how your search in DSP or any awareness campaign, or maybe it's not on Amazon, maybe you are running on social media, TikTok. You could see here how that is impacting your Amazon branded searches. Are the customers coming here or looking at this or not? Where it becomes interesting is that when you click for any subcategory, there is this purchase index, sales index. This sales index for every subcategory shows you that where are you in the percentile in terms of the sales. For instance, there is this brand right now, I'm looking at it. It shows that in the purchased top part of funnel, this brand in this category stands in 92%, sorry, meaning it is performing better than 92 percentile of the brands in this category. Now, what this means is that what we are doing with this, we are tracking this for every subcategory, month over month. Amazon doesn't show us this, but we are tracking in our own dashboard. We put this in a graph, which month over month, we want this number either to stay stable or go up. If it goes down, it means you are losing market share. This is amazing. And I don't see anyone talking about this, but this is a very great index that shows you where you are roughly, and it's a good estimation of where you are standing in terms of market share, which is directly coming from Amazon. Also,
interesting.
Also, it shows the shoppers, right? About that percentile, which is a great index to look at. It shows your shoppers, how they are changing week over week. It shows the category median, shoppers, how they change, plus the category top, how they have changed. So sometimes when I want to compare our brand with the competition, since it's the absolute number of the shoppers, week over week, what I do, or month over month, I divide the number of category median to previous months, mine to previous month, to see the growth, and I compare my brand to the category top. Like if the shoppers increased 10%, how much my shoppers increase? We, in an ideal world, we want to be 10% or more, but you could get to that number and see where you are standing with that.
Awesome. And just for, we'll maybe show some screenshots later, but for people just listening to this, they're in their car right now. They want to go home and go find where to find these things. How can they navigate to this section that you just were talking about?
So you go to Seller Central, click on advertising campaigns, go to the advertising campaigns. On advertising campaigns, advertising console, on the left, there is this tab called Insights and Planning. Under Insights and Planning, there you have the brand metrics.
Okay, so I'll show this for our YouTube. So they're here in the advertising console. They go to the left-hand side, and then the next thing they need to click on, Insights and Planning.
Insights and Planning.
And then brand metrics. Awesome. I hope you guys, we just spent, 20, 25 minutes talking about things, 100% of which, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years ago, nobody had access to. So like, some people say, Amazon is getting more difficult. Amazon is getting more competition. It's less profits. And so, some of that is absolutely true. Of course, it's not as quote unquote easy as it was back in the day, but there are some aspects of Amazon that you just have so much more visibility into what's going on thanks to Amazon that, it kind of makes up at least for some of the added competition and some of the barrier to entry. So definitely take advantage of these things. Not one thing that he just mentioned you have to pay for, or is like back in the day, 6-7 years ago, you used to have to pay even tens of thousands of dollars to Amazon for these special reports only if you're a vendor. And what we have today for free is more powerful than those that brands used to pay tens of thousands of dollars for. Let's just quickly switch gears for just a couple minutes. I see you do put out some content on LinkedIn about Walmart and Walmart advertising. What's just a couple things that you can mention just about in Walmart in general, or some specific strategies that you're seeing that works or that people maybe should be taking advantage of that's new on Walmart that sellers aren't taking advantage of now?
I would say we have realized we have done everything, everything we have done in Walmart, we have realized that it's pretty much similar to Amazon in terms of the strategies you have. One difference I personally noticed, like for Amazon, we say focus on starting with keyword targeting to do the indexing and everything. But actually in Walmart, I have noticed that auto campaign is working better when you are starting. So just start with auto campaign. It doesn't mean you shouldn't target keywords or you shouldn't segment. You should do that, but start with auto campaign. Seems like Walmart doing a great job there. And also, something that I don't see maybe the managers using it is these placements for the campaigns. Walmart has more control over placements, desktop, mobile. You could add multiplier for them and different placements. Even they have more control than Amazon. They give us more control than Amazon over them. That I would say it's a low-hanging fruit that I don't see many people are using it. But as you can create and give control, add placements and focus on different placements, it's going to give you more control to understand where you are getting the best efficiency in Walmart advertising. One thing I wanted to go back, Bradley, you mentioned about these new data is coming, and as I'm giving new data and people asking about Helium 10, I have always said that, like, these are two different things. Amazon gives the data, but it doesn't have anything to do with Helium 10 because Helium 10 has a different purpose. These data have a different purpose. And the way I think is that these two working together to give you better insights. And Amazon is the worst in bringing the data. Like they give you data from every single dashboard. You can't make connections. You can't know what it is. But tools like Helium 10, at the end of the day, the idea is that they bring this in one platform and they give you the insight. So yeah, I don't like when people comparing, or sometimes I post out like, oh, we don't need Helium 10 anymore. I'm like, no, you need Helium 10. That's a different tool that you need to have. And it is different from what we are talking or what Amazon is providing you. So it's not going to stop you from using Helium 10.
All right, now before we get into our last questions and last strategy of the day, how can people find you out there on the interwebs? I'm sure everybody wants to follow you on LinkedIn, and how can they find you, Incrementum, etc.?
Best place for me personally is on LinkedIn, Mansour, or you search, hopefully you can find me. For Incremental Digital, LinkedIn, plus we are very active on YouTube and social media like Instagram, TikTok. In our YouTube, we post videos, contents. You could follow us there as well.
Since we were talking about Helium 10, something I ask every guest here, I already asked what you would do for search group performance, but 2 questions about Helium 10. Number 1, what is your favorite tool that Helium 10 has now, or favorite function of a tool? And then number 2, outside of what you said about search group performance, if I said, Mansour, you are our chief product officer for the day, what would you make our team develop that we don't have currently?
Market 360 is very good for the market share. That's a great tool because I feel like brands, they have started going out of this mindset of revenue, how much our revenue grows, because that is meaningless. At the end of the day, you need to understand your market share and grow your market share because you can't look at the revenue. So Market 360, I would say, is the best tool, which could help brands to understand holistically what's going on and where they are standing. Put away a revenue. Revenue doesn't show you how your brand is doing. And if I want to add one thing, which I feel like brands are missing, is forecasting. And what I mean by forecasting, unfortunately, I see many smaller to medium-sized brands, like bigger brands, they do forecasting. They move forward blindsided. They don't have any idea. They are saying, okay, here's my tacos goal of, let's say 15%, 20%. Let's go see what happens, which is the biggest mistake you could do. And actually, we have started doing this, and we want to do this for most of the brands we are working recently. Do a forecast for next 6 months to 12 months. Of course, it's an estimate. It's not going to be accurate. Do a forecast and say, based on your historical data that we see and trend, here is what's going to happen next 6 months to next 12 months. Based on that, you plan what's going to be your monthly revenue, what should be your monthly spend. So month over month, you are tracking this, you have this number. And if your goal, let's say you're getting to, in 10 months, you are getting, 12 months, you are getting to 10 million. But your goal is 12 million. Okay, now we know that we have to have that extra spend to make sure we are getting in track to achieving that, and you are tracking without being blindsided or just going with the flow. So forecasting, I would add in ASIN level, very easy, plus the sales for brands to plan for the future.
I like that. We kind of have that already just for inventory though. Like we haven't, right. I mean, people in our inventory management, you can select, okay, based on 30-day velocity, but we also have a dynamic algorithm that's looking at the seasonality of your product and prime, know that Prime Day is coming up. But what we don't have is just overall, just outside of inventory, like a forecast. I think that's a great idea. All right. So your last 60-second strategy, 60-second tip of the day, something kind of actionable that Amazon sellers can and should be doing.
My tip would be that I see this happening time and time for some of the brands, that it applies if your product is exploratory. For instance, if you are selling bed mattresses, right? These are the product or fashionable products. These are the exploratory products, meaning customers browse many products, click around until they find the things that they like and they purchase. Either it's design, either it's color or the size. So the mistakes that I see times and times these brands doing, they push the advertising too much for top of search, which you don't need. You're wasting money by increasing your cost per click to be on top of page, while being on top of page or being in the middle part of the page doesn't matter, because still customers will click on your product because they are looking. And if you go to brand analytics, you can see for these type of keywords, anywhere you see the click share for the keywords are low, those keywords are exploratory. It means you don't need to bid high. Just bring your bid down. Make sure you are visible on the page, on top half of the page. Don't aim for top of the search. I wanted to give this as a tip because I see many brands and many examples I have seen over the last 5-6 months they have been doing. We have changed the strategy and we have seen results. We haven't lost many sales, but our cost per acquisition comes lower.
All right. Thanks a lot, Mansour, for coming on and sharing all your knowledge. Really appreciate what you've been able to share with us. And we look forward to seeing having you back on the show next year to see what you've been up to.
Thank you so much for having me. It was great. Thanks.